Want to welcome Beth to East Bay Outside. Hi, Beth. Thanks for
Hello.
meeting with me this morning. I appreciate it.
Of course.
We are at the barrel room for Steven Kent Winery that is shared with Wente Vineyards. Is that a true statement?
Yes, that's correct. We work in the small lot area of Wente, which is kind of their nth degree, and Marriott as well. So we have a tiny little corner in their warehouse. So this is our area.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, what do you do for Steven Kent? What's your role? How long have you been with them?
So I am the cellar master and assistant winemaker here at Steven Kent. I started in 2018, so right before harvest of 2018. And my job is to take care of all of the barrels and do a lot of facilitating and bottling and helping with harvest. And I'm pretty much the cleaner of everything.
Yeah, cleanliness is important, especially in the wine industry.
Very, very important.
As you know. So, what did you do before you came to Steven Kent or working in the wine industry?
So I actually got a job in the wine industry right out of college. So I was in the wine industry at 21, totally by mistake. A mistake, but it wasn't in my thoughts of what I would be doing with my life. Out of college, got a degree, moved to Chicago, needed a job, just something to pay the bills, and happened to get a job in a tasting room and winery and wine bar type area, just with some amazing people, and really fell in love with wine. And that was a few decades ago now, and I'm very lucky to be in this industry. I love it.
That's fantastic. I had no idea Chicago had wineries.
There is, yeah. There's a winery there. So it's called Linfred. And so it was started a long time ago. It's in this beautiful kind of old Victorian house, and they built a cellar underneath the house, and they they get grapes, across state lines, a lot from Lodi, and it's a really interesting process. So they do make wine in Illinois, and there is some Illinois wine too. So it does grow in Illinois.
A little bit of estate grown.
Yes.
That would be interesting.
Yep. Chambourcin and Sauvignon Blanc and interesting varieties we don't see out here in California.
Nor should we, maybe. I don't know.
Probably not.
So what did you do before working in the industry outside of college? I mean, obviously you popped out of college and then...
Yeah. I was involved in a lot of dance and music, and then got a journalism degree. And again, when I couldn't find I was looking to be like an editor at a publishing company or something like that. And when I couldn't find that, I, again, just started as a server at a wine bar, and then moved back to the Willamette Valley, which is where I'm from. Worked at a winery there, doing tasting room and wine club, and everything else that you could possibly do in a winery. You wear a lot of hats when you work at a winery normally. Then moved to California and got a job actually in wine export, which is a very, very interesting part of the wine industry. So shipping California wine all over the world is fascinating. And always really wanted to get my hands dirty. I love everything about the wine industry, but winemaking was always very interesting to me. And Las Positas College here in Livermore was the way I was able to start taking some classes with my full-time job in the evening. And then, the first time I was out in the vineyards and the first time I was in the cellar at the college, it was like, oh my gosh, this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. So that's kind of my story of how I got here.
That's fabulous. Did you get both the certifications in enology and in viticulture?
It's a good question. I have my enology certificate. I'm close to my viticulture. I want to finish the degree for enology. I need to take 2 chemistry classes. So I got to finish that because that's who I am, and I got to finish it. But I mean, just great program. Get your hands on everything. We were in the cellar the first day of class, learning how to use pumps and learning how to take care of barrels, and very hands-on and just wonderful people. Some of my best friends I've met in those classes. So great place to be.
It is a great program. I totally agree with you. I'm thrilled to be able to do it as well. Any other facts you want to share about the winery or the industry and what you would change as a female in this industry?
Yeah, it's the winery, and one thing I want to kind of talk about, the Livermore Valley is just an amazing place. It's a beautiful valley. There are so many passionate winemakers here, and the wine quality here is incredible. And one thing that's really cool about Steven Kent Winery is that they're 6th and 7th generation winemakers. So Stephen Mirasu, 6th generation, Aidan Mirasu, 7th generation. And what's really cool about that, and a lot of you kind of throw those words around, but they're the oldest winemaking family in the country. So, their great, however many grandfather started making wine in San Jose before Abraham Lincoln was president. So that's huge, and I'm very thankful to be able to be working with this family. Very passionate people, incredibly good at what they do. It just runs in their blood, and when you meet them, you kind of know it too. So I think that's really cool about our winery in specific. We've been here since '96, specialize in Cabernet Sauvignon and Cabernet Franc, and we're wine nerds to the extreme. Just love wine and love people, and it's a great place to be. And again, the Livermore Valley, Steven and his father came here kind of in the late 80s, early 90s, and then started the Steven Kent Winery together in '96. So they've been around for a while here in Livermore and believe in the quality of Livermore, as do I obviously now.
Anything you'd want to change in the industry or see how women have progressed from from your young age when you started?
This is a great question, and it's interesting for me. We were lucky enough to have Good Morning America come out here a couple years ago, and the journalist asked me, what's it like being a woman winemaker? And it was interesting. I should have been prepared for the question, and it kind of I stumbled around some sort of answer, but the reality is, in my situation, I'm really, really lucky because I don't see myself as a woman winemaker. I am a winemaker, and that's how I'm treated. And I know that's not always the case, and I feel very lucky that that's how I am. But around where I'm at and working with the people I work with, I'm 4'11", but I do everything else the guys do, and it's part of the job. Is it's very physical, and you have to be really passionate, and I am. And I've been lucky that I've been treated in that way. So for me, I think that's also a testament to Livermore. One thing I find awesome about Livermore is that we actually have a higher percentage of women winemakers specifically, but women owners and women, in leadership positions. And these women are amazing. They are so passionate. We all support each other. We have meetings together just to, talk about wine and talk about what's going on and talk about business. And I love that there's a higher percentage here than there are in other wine countries. And I really look up to these women, and I am thankful there are several of them that have kind of paved the pathway for someone like me to come in and not feel like I'm anything different than anybody else. So that's really important to me, and I love that, and I hope that kind of gets people to Livermore too, because I know we always love supporting women-owned companies, and wineries are the same way.
That's fabulous to hear. That makes me really happy. And 50 wineries now in Livermore.
Yes. Yep.
Amazing. How many of those would you say are owned and or operated?
Let's see.
Female leadership.
We were just talking about this, and I'm going to get you the actual number because I think we're at 20% women winemakers. We just talked about this, and I'm so mad at myself for not writing it down, but the average is much less than that. And so I think as far as, if I remember correctly, the actual winemaker part of it is about 20%. Very cool, and that includes someone like me as an assistant winemaker. But if winemaker is in your title, we have a much higher percentage, and it's awesome. These badass, passionate women. So
that's refreshing to hear.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add, Beth, to our interview before we head over to the actual tasting room at Steven Kent?
I don't think so. I think we'll have some more conversation about wine over there.
Excellent. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thanks for visiting my little palace here.